Well, I'm leaving you tomorrow. Seems to me, girl, you know I've done all I can. You see your big store and the borrow. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning.
faith no more, easy. This has been the Punkery Show, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy Rashawn is here. Did you know? For the San Andreas fans out here, this is the same guy that sings Midlife Crisis. Ew. He's also the same guy that does all the zombie sounds for Left 4 Dead. How about that? Mike Patton. All of them? I'm not too sure. He did most of them. So, for y'all San Andreas homers, whenever you listen to Midlife Crisis ever again, just think of Left 4 Dead 2 Zombie. Same guy.
Like Sunday morning. Yeah, yeah.
So today should be a pretty simpleton type show here today. We've had a lot of action over the past couple of weeks, especially with the COB coming back in the pre-show. We were talking about, I heard Skid Piet had said that the COB or Dino King rather. Actually, no, the COB they were doing some reform type activities in game this week. Dino King was playing Medic this week. I heard Floppa was also doing some non-contact type gameplay this week. So, a little uncharacteristic, but as we all know, the COB got freed about 4 weeks ago, and they are on a plan called the COB Recovery Plan. So the first part of the recovery plan was to let them back in game, and over time they may grant themselves back access to the Discord. Who knows when that'll be? We don't know, but right now King Lurch said doubts. You never know. I also heard from Anka that the COB were reformed, so hopefully that phrase stays relevant and is not aged out quick. You know what I mean? Earlier this week, there's only one overarching meme I gotta talk about this week. And then after that, we'll go into mainly suggestions and player report game tape, which we haven't really gotten to all that much over the past few weeks. But earlier in the week there was a meme that happened, and I think it was blown out of proportion. People reacted to, and I think Butthead's back on the Discord actually, but people reacted to Butthead and Miss earlier in the week leaving the Discord. And that didn't age very well because it was conflated. Leaving the Discord, them leaving the Discord was conflated with them leaving the server, which they didn't. Miss confirmed 2 days ago, I believe, that she left the Discord, not the game. And her reasoning was, she said, toxicity. and she said to say it in my voice. So toxicity was the reason of her leaving Discord. But you know, there's been this debate of Miss leaving the Discord, Xanax. People earlier in the week thought with Miss and Butthead leaving the Discord, they thought that meant they left the server, but it only meant that they left the Discord, not the server. You know what I mean? And there were dudes earlier in the week that were talking about, shit, the server is desperate. Gotta bring the COB back for some quote unquote extra people. Or whatever the case may be, you know, is losing chips. Is losing chips. And some other people potentially worth it to have the COB come back around here. And my thought has always been, it doesn't really matter. It does not matter. Everybody always has this thought that one decision is going to kill the server, or one decision is going to make the server good, or whatever the case may be, you know? But the bottom line, Xenix has COB good people, tell me I'm wrong. Somebody challenge him, huh? But whether or not COB was brought back, or whether or not COB stayed out, whether or not Chips stayed here, or Chips left, or whether or not any individual person or any individual entity leaves, stays, goes, it doesn't can matter, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, the biggest problem with this server is still customer acquisition, in the sense of trying to get the casual 5M player. That is the only, well, that and player retention. Those are the two problems with this server, which is a problem with many servers on 5M. You know what I mean? This is why many companies spend a lot of money on trying to acquire customers. You know what I mean? Besides paying their employees, customer acquisition costs is one of the biggest costs that companies have to make. And I know that I'm saying company and this is a 5M server, but I've always thought that you have to treat 5M servers as a business rather than just some casual bullshit. You know, Monix just said casual 5M players want casual features in the server. And to be honest, I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what casual features are when it comes to 5M, unless we're talking about RP type shit. King Lurch said tutorials is what we need. It's a good idea, I guess. King Lurch says, sometimes when I do a thing I've never done, he'll finish that, I suppose. He has no clue what to do. Damn. Well, I guess you got a point. I guess tutorials would be a good thing. There were a good amount of them in the past, but I suppose there does need to be some. Now, you know, if we had like an FAQ of things that people most need, then I suppose some videos can be made about them so that people know what the fuck can do, you know, because in this day and age of gaming, GAYMING, people kind of need guidance. There's not a lot of learn as you go type stuff, you know what I mean? Dino King right now is in game, shout out to him. King Lurch said casuals ain't going to the YouTube. Oh man, so you're saying it has to be intuitive. It's gotta be, you've gotta know what you're doing as you do it. Intuitive type situation, right? They're not going to YouTube to watch a guide. They need to know what they're doing as they're doing it, huh? That's difficult. You know what I mean? Marnix continued to say, missions like car delivery is a casual feature. Missions like in GTA 5 could be a casual feature. Allowing you to run businesses could be a casual feature. Abdel, 2026, I don't know about that. No, I'm not looking for head admin at all. We need if you want to be head admin, you've got to be a young buck. You know what I mean? I've got gray in my beard, folks. I've got no ambition to be head admin. You feel me? Dino King says, I want you to acknowledge that after 1.5 years, I don't have negative score anymore. I had negative score in 10 years of playing Crazy Bob's COB Reformed. So there it is. Dino King, ladies and gentlemen, has said he finally has positive score, and he is reformed. Reformed, rather. COB Reformed. But yeah, basically, every time someone comes out and says, XY decision is either a desperate attempt to get players, or XY attempt, or XY change or whatever, is going to make everyone leave. It's always with a grain of salt, because it's rare. There's a multitude of things, a multitude of factors that go into whether or not the server is fucking players or not. You know, it's like morons. It's like morons that say that salt causes high blood pressure. Salt has a role in blood pressure, but it is not the reason why people have high blood pressure. Another one is one I used to parrot, is that sugar causes diabetes. Sugar has a role in causing diabetes, but it is not the only thing that causes diabetes. It is rare that one thing unbanning COB, ships leaving, it is never one thing that causes another thing. You know what I mean? So, next big thing that happens, if Dino King, for example, gets that ass banned, we'll take a look at his... Oh, he had a ban appeal earlier today, or this week. But if Dino King gets that ass banned, he says, don't jinx me, bro. Then it doesn't have an impact on the server, right? That's all I can say. You know, again, to dismount this shit, the two biggest problems on this server, along with what Marnik said possibly, the two biggest things on the server is player acquisition and player retention. That's it. That's it. And those are two things that the majority, I would say, of 5M servers have an issue with. You know, all of this X player left the server is dead type stuff. Well, I don't want to compare it to Crazy Bob's, but, you know, I'm telling you this. Cat in Heat. Shout out to him. We need to bring out our breaking news here. Let me see here. Let's get our breaking news out.
Breaking news.
So Cat in Heat in game just said one more time.
Breaking news.
Cat in Heat just said demoting me resulted in Punkery not reaching highest tier. And Abdel just added in the NG Weekly News. Quote, breaking news. Admin Cat in Heat, aka Chuppy with a capital C, has retired from the administration. Reason not confirmed yet.
Breaking news.
Dino King says he has intel on unfazed people. He knows it'll be breaking news. Guess why you give me that? Sir Woofy just gave me a PM saying, "Weren't you supposed to be in Iran?" What do you mean by that? All right, we got breaking news here from Dino King as well.
Breaking news.
He's giving us the reason, apparently, why Butthead and others left. He says, quote, "Apparently unfazed players are making their own 5M server because we returned, and they need the EU server back. /zeroed. Which is why Butthead and others left, and you don't see them in game. Lava PM'd me himself."
Breaking news.
About that. This I didn't know. This I didn't know. Unfazed players apparently are making their own 5M server, huh? How about that? How about that? We might need Dino King said that Lava was asking Evan rather, questions about servers. Oh damn, okay. That's real breaking news to me, ladies and gentlemen. I had no clue. Is this true? The unfazed Gnag is thinking about their own server creation. How about that? Dino King right now dropping bombs down here. Sir Woofy. Sir Woofy's trying to say that Americans need to go to the war in Iran because they increased the age of enlistment to 42 years old. Well, we'll see about that. Sir Woofy, we'll see about that. I don't know about that. Ah! Conceited just said, sources say Andrew Stewart will be the unfazed Gnag's Deb.
Breaking news.
I mean, Andrew Stewart, man. Every couple of months he comes in the Discord and posts a video of some project that he's working on. Dinner Sex Bed. He is the trademarker of that. Andrew Stewart. Shout out to the man. Anyway, let us get into some suggestions. NG suggestions, ladies and gentlemen. Rip in peace to TBS SO5. He just crash landed at the Pacific Standard Bank. Rips onto him. Marnik says Klaus Schwab will finance the unfazed Gnag server. Well, here's the thing, man. I mean, and it's 2026. In order to have a server that is bustling and successful, you gotta have some cash. You know what I mean? Hopefully, there are people in Unfazed that are from the Netherlands, because we all know that legislation that the Netherlands is possibly going to pass of taking unrealized or taxing unrealized gains in the stock market. Maybe that'll give the impetus to the Dutch people in Unfazed to use that money, not invest, but invest it in the new server. Mick says tax Unfazed before they make the server. That's your job for you. Butthead says it'll be called Cops and Robbers Next Generation, but better in parentheses. So there it is. Got all the money cash right there. I don't know if Marnix is going to be the guy or one of the guys to fund it. I mean, as we all know, Marnix is he is the resident vegan of the server, and vegan food is expensive. So I'm not really sure, you know. Gotta have a lot of discretionary income there, Marnix, you know what I mean? Literally at the same second, Dino King just said vegan bundle of sticks, And TBS05 just said bundle of sticks vegan on the same second. Think the same thought at the same time. For now, though, let's get to the NG suggestions. So, we talked about one suggestion last week, which was by Ray420. And we only talked about Ray420 suggestion because a few weeks ago in the Discord, in NG General, by the way, Ray420 posted a picture in his bathroom of him holding something in his hand, but the picture also had his toilet in the picture, and his toilet had contents. So, I guess you can imagine what the contents in the toilet were. But that's Ray420 for you, ladies and gentlemen. It was a suggestion. It was a suggestion to have an area in the casino so that you can basically ban yourself from the casino. And to my surprise, there were a few people that were sympathetic with Ray420, saying that gambling is a very serious thing, and there should be a thing in-game to restrict yourself from gambling. In the pre-show, we talked about how Eastern Europeans back in the day had no time to be depressed. I'm curious what Mix's reaction is to the idea that Ray420 or people like him cannot stop themselves from gambling and need an in-game feature to have a thing where it stops yourself from gambling. This sounds like a grow a cock type situation. So, it is what it is. Anyway, King Lurch says, I got some unrealized gains you can tax at 20 o'clock. Mix says, ain't no stopping gambling here. I tell you, Eastern Europe's a different place, man, I tell you. So we have one here from Lex. This one is more of a general one, I guess. He mentions a new player onboarding suggestion thread. So Lex says that what is this? Mix says, kids get lunch money for school and put it all on sports gambling. Rips on, man. Dino King asks also, when is the Easter event coming out? I don't know if Lex is listening right now, but when is the Easter event coming out? I mean, honestly, at this point, we should have events on this server from all religions and all cultures, right? NG should have an Eid event. NG should have a Ramadan event. NG should have Easter. NG should have Lent. And NG should have every single religion's holiday, and to put that shit in. You know what I mean? But anyway, Lex says we're looking for to make it easier for new players to pick up the game and learn stuff. So post your suggestions in this thread. Or things in game that you find confusing. Now or when you were new. Thank you. Cat in Heat, who is now apparently retired, says, which gun you can and can't use for drive-by? I thought that'd be intuitive, but I guess not. Oh, well, I guess not, because, pistols, or AP pistols can. That makes sense. Why I can't sell fish in game in most restaurants and shops. As a medic, oh, okay. CPR not working until you actually do respond. That makes sense. Forgetting that the car cell crane is now called Exporter, and it's hard to find in the GPS. You never knew you can keep cars uninsured in garages until someone mentioned it in chat. And some Benny's type stuff. Sir Woofy mentioned something about up-to-date info on the websites. Yeah, that makes sense. The websites, usually when we do the change logs, I do not reference the websites because I think it's been a while since that's Been updated as far as I know. Guides for each individual skill. All right, that's pretty good. A new tips or help window enabled by default. Somewhere on the screen with some useful... Actually, this is a very good idea. For a guy who's barking at me with Iran stuff since the beginning of the show, this is actually a very good idea. So, let's say when you rob the bank or start robbing the bank, tip screens can come up on the screen, right? That's automatically leaving like 10 seconds. That will show you what you can do while you rob the bank, let's say. You know what I mean? That is a very good idea. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we just talked about Left 4 Dead 2 earlier, right? In Left 4 Dead 2, if you just start playing the game, it gives you tips of what you can do when you start playing the game or start playing the game mode, right? Just to remind you of what you can do. If you add that into NG based on what you're doing at the moment, that's actually a pretty good idea. You know what I mean? So again, when you're robbing the bank, a tip marker can come up on the screen saying you can, you know, open the vault or drill, baby drill, as Trump would say. Or, you know, any other mission or something like that. You know, tip boxes come up on the screen so that you actually know what you're doing when you're doing it. You know what I mean? Very good idea by Sir Woofy, despite his Iran shit. Huh? Or instead of a new tip/help window, have the bot say helpful stuff instead of organization nonsense. Well, maybe they can PM it to you or something. I think a tip window would be a lot better, honestly. You know, yeah, sure. When you start robbing the bank or whatever, I guess a bot can PM you with stuff that you can do. But you know, I guess a tip window would kind of put it in your face a little bit more. You know what I mean? Mix mentioned setting up tutorial missions with NPCs to explain some of the stuff interactively. Ah, shit! Oh, this is a good idea. Just like with the cop thing, the cop training, right? In the cop training, there's what is it? Isn't there like a mock NPC in the cop training? So if you could do that, but with a lot of the missions in the game, that's pretty good idea as well. You know what I mean? So a / training type situation for bank robbing, right? A / training situation for, you know, anything, the black cargo, whatever the fuck it's called, you know? Something like that would be a good idea. And he says, a short mission explaining basics like DM with an NPC, a couple common scenarios. Oh, revenge, definitely. Revenge, hit, attacking innocents. When you select a profession, you get another short mission showcasing it. Oh, this one's a good one for medic, right? I mean, as Chuppy said, you gotta do / respond before you do / CPR. If there was a / training like mission or demonstration for being a medic where you can actually see live, you've got to type / respond, walk up to a bot who's on the ground and do / CPR, that would make it a bit more intuitive for people. So, you know, these are good ideas. What is this here? Marnik says, remove the complete arrest or hitman script. If somebody with a hit or felony is close to a hitman and police officer, they get the hit or arrest, even if they didn't arrest or kill them. I'm trying to get this in my brain right here. They get the hits even if they didn't arrest or kill them. I don't understand. I don't understand. You have to explain that to me, honestly. Yeah, I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. Yeah, and Vixley mentioned basically about the new tutorial about new tutorial for new players and all that shit. So yeah, I guess tutorial said keto brain activated. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Marnix is gonna post something in there soon. I think he's gonna clarify what he meant there. If somebody with a hit or felony is close to a hitman or police officer, they get the hit or arrest even if they didn't kill or arrest them. Yeah. I think yeah, he'll give us some more clarity, I guess, you know what I mean? And he'll give us some clarity, I suppose. And what you call it? But Preacher, I think he's trying to do some propaganda over here. In fact, let's segue. We'll get back to what Marnik says in a few minutes. But Preacher a few weeks ago, I think he mentioned for me to take a look at this. A single-shot grenade launcher with BZ gas. What was BZ? Gas for cops. Oh, tear gas. Okay. He mentioned if only tear gas cans would bounce like in counter CS Joke 2. Joke 2. Instead of nerfing and balancing interiors like ammunition, we could add grenade launcher with BZ gas ammo. That would be ultimate solution for all interiors. The weapon would look like, I'm guessing this. Yeah, this. I managed to change it to the BZ gas ammo. I tested on my local server. Works very well, like a normal tear gas grenade. Weapon will be available on police station for the cops with rank 6 or above, or 5 credits with 5 or less ammo limit. Easy install because it's 5M ready and easy to uninstall. Worth to try it. So basically, as far as I see here, it is a launcher. It's a tear gas launcher. Yeah, there you go. It says yeah. So yeah, it's a tear gas launcher. And this might mitigate some of the situations where cops throw tear gas and accidentally kill 2 cops because the cops don't see the tear gas and they die, and then the cop loses their weapons or some shit, gets warned and all that. It's an interesting idea, you know. This, I suppose, could allow the door and ammunition to be opened up again, because I guess in order for the tear gas to go inside in the shooting range and the ammunition, the door has to already be open. And this is so Marnix says, good idea, but ammunition needed a nerf because the Molotov was not burning the shooting range floor. Well, I guess, you know. Okay, Cesar mentioned about it may fuck up bank and casino robbery gameplay. So you can read there, I guess, huh? It's an interesting idea. I guess Caesar has a decent point. I mean, I guess it would clear out some choke points for a little bit. I guess you'd have to see how long the tear gas lasts, and if there's a way to edit how long the tear gas starts, or how long the tear gas lasts and all that shit. But if anything, it would just make people move from where the tear gas is being deployed. You know what I mean? Switch positions, change positions, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Who's this? What I hear?
USA, USA, USA number 1. Trump number 1. Iran number 3.
Look at this dude. It is HENDRIK, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? He
Why?
is.
Why did you start like 20 minutes too early? You out of your mind now?
No, but that's a good segue. Good segue. Good segue. Good segue. So, tomorrow your ops change their clocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next night.
Yeah. That means next week the show is going to be. Is it an hour earlier? Is that what it is? An hour earlier for
Yeah.
people who do daylight savings. A preacher said if you watch him 3 COB versus him in planes, just gotta show it in action. How about that? Hold on, did Marnix say something around here? Hold on. No? Okay. +1. I'm not even sure what Marnix even fucking said. I'm not even sure what he said.
Anyway,
+1 him. Oh, go ahead. What?
do I hear an airplane in the background of yours?
No, that is GTA 5. That is the server. That's the background that you hear. That is the server.
Okay. Well, I need to know one thing. Is my boy back? Is my boy back?
Chips? No, Chips
Yeah.
is still gone. He's still working on his studios, you know?
That's amazing. Like you played this type of a game for, I don't know, 50 years daily.
Yeah.
How can you just stop? Like I'm actually worried. You okay?
I don't know. He went from 100 to 0. You know what I mean? Chips.
Yeah, that ain't safe. Like if you do drugs for many years and it's just completely out of nowhere, you quit. Like
Cold turkey.
yeah, you will get bad reaction. Like you can't just fully stop something you have been doing for so long. So I'm worried about my boy.
Don't worry. Your boy will be back at some point. He's just on a hiatus. In a few months he'll be back. He'll make his chip studios worldwide, and then when he comes back, he'll give us the story. But he will be back. Chips will be back. It's just a matter of time. Marnix said he's explaining the stance he had in the suggestion topic there. The script for Hitman, Cop, etc. gives the arrest to the closest officer. Same goes to Hitman. So for new players, it don't make any sense. For example, a felon with a plane dive bombs into a cop. They kill the cop, but then they also get arrested, which makes no sense. Also, for example, a hitman is standing or driving at a busy place on the map. Then when someone else who is not a hitman kills the person who has hit and revenge, the kills go to the hitman. So you're saying that if a guy with a hit dies to the nearest hitman but not directly to the hitman, they should not get the hit. Is that what you're saying? At least for that part, we'll go one by one. Yeah, exactly. If they get killed by a non-hitman with a hitman in the area, you're saying that the hitman should not get credit for the hit contract, is what you're saying. Okay. Well, I actually disagree. I know the hitman didn't do shit, or maybe they did shit. What do you think if the hitman did some damage but didn't get the kill? What do you think about that? Because I think if a hitman's around, they should get the hit regardless. But who did the most damage? Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. And then you also mentioned a felon with the plane dive bombs kamikazes into a cop. They kill the cop, but they die and they also get arrested. They get sent to jail too. I think, isn't it based on the situation? They still stay.
I can't
outside.
tell if your background sound is from real life or the game. To be honest, I can't tell because where you live could be just what's happening right now.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
hear vehicles crashing.
if I opened the window, right? You remember when I would open the window? Usually you'd hear birds chirping. Yeah. As far as I know, there are no birds chirping in GTA 5, as far as I know. But no, you're right. The ambiance does give this little different type of shit, I guess, huh? So again, Smith said that there needs to be cops at Legion Square. There's a couple felons outside or in Legion Square right now. The Sam Ganag and the MD Ganag are right now at Legion Square. Let's take a look at another suggestion here. Adziu, if I'm saying that wrong, says it would be super cool if medics or fire department, I'm guessing, was given the police bike or some sort of bike with a medic livery. Yeah, simple but nice. Not much to say there. It's a good idea. Yeah, good idea. Identify you. Shout out to Identify You. Here's a fun fact about Identify You, ladies and gentlemen. So during a Rate My Chase last season, Identify You was a felon, and he was running from cops. He had his voice chat off, but there was a kid who had probably not gotten into puberty yet, but he was following Identify You around the city for a little bit, saying that he would give Identify You a blowjob. And at some points, the kid crashed into a fire hydrant geyser, and he fell off his bike, and his body hit a pole, and he died. I should probably show the video, honestly. But yeah, shout out to Identify You. But he wants the ult speedometer back, which, as Primitive said, I can only show part of the screen because that would be leaking. The bottom side here is the OST would block it. So I guess we're probably not going to have that, huh? He does say, though, that the speedometer kind of lags? Yeah. I guess that's just a quality of life update that needs to be put in to make the speedometer a little bit better, I suppose. Cesar. Shout out to Cesar. He got that ass banned, I think, a few weeks ago because he killed Butthead. Because on his minimap, it showed the contract, it showed the revenge icon. He killed him, but there was no revenge when he killed him, if that makes sense. So Cesar is like, for some reason, the hit marker got disabled. I can't find any info on the changelog. Oh, this is different. Okay. Oh, okay, this is different. Never mind. Okay, so the hit marker's coming back at some point. All right, never mind. Another from Marnix here, ladies and gentlemen. So, Entity, before he got that ass banned, which I notice, I always have problematic people. The only people that come on this show are problematic, you know what I mean? Entity has co-hosted the show a few times, or a decent amount of times, from last year, and all of a sudden he gets that ass banned. Abdel sometimes comes on the show, and he gets ripped by everybody on the server. Marnix sometimes comes on the show, and he gets ripped for being vegan. So everybody, and even Hendrik, right? Hendrik gets ripped for being drunk or drinking milk. You know what I mean? So everybody who comes on the show gets ripped. And Marnix also has the idea that Entity had, which was to make cars faster. And he says each car class should have its own top speed. Motorcycles 300 kilometers per hour. We need to convert that. Yeah, we can't. This is 2 year out for me right here. All right, what is 300 kilometers per hour? 2 miles per hour. Is that 180? Is that what it is? Yeah, 186. All right. Okay. Wait, what motorcycle goes 300 kilometers per hour? The fuck? Does the Bati Boy get that high? Does the Bati Boy RR get to 300 kilometers per hour? That's wild, man. But either way, Marx is basically saying, as Entity had said for a while, that cars should be faster to compensate for how big the map is. I don't have any opinion on this, to be honest with you. Whenever Entity came on this show and was talking about the car should go 300 or 200 miles per hour, I was like, yeah. But I don't know. Jesus. Evan, listen, Evan is the guy. This man will write paragraphs with no problem, bro. Evan may be the 2026 Play Too Hard. Remember that guy? Play Too Hard. Evan will make paragraphs with no effort, man. No effort. I mean, in the era of people needing to use ChatGPT, who natively speak English, in order to fix 2 paragraphs, Evan, he just naturally writes paragraphs, man. Look at this dude. But yeah, I mean, without reading this, I can kind of extrapolate what he's saying here. That changing the top speed or making it higher for each class or whatever would impact robberies too. I guess cops would be able to get to robberies quicker, which may or may not really be a factor. My thought is, if it's possible, which it probably isn't, I'm probably speaking in fairy tales right now, is so for the San Andreas players out there, you noticed that the strip, there are some roads in San Andreas, GTA, say San Andreas, where there are speed limits, right? The strip, no, not sexual assault, man. The strip has a speed limit. The Garver Bridge had a speed limit, and there was one more that I can't remember that had a speed limit. Maybe I'm thinking in fairy tales right now, but I'm thinking, is there a way to, once you leave city limits, Blaine County, or, for example, the Great Ocean Highway, if that's what it's called, there's a speed boost on that road. I don't know if there's a way to do that, but if there was a way to keep the top speeds what they are right now inside the Los Santos city and have a speed boost on the Great Ocean Highway or the Sonora Freeway, then do that, right? So that if there's a felon in Blaine County, cops can get there faster. Again, maybe a fairy tale. I'm not really sure if that's possible, but that would be something. As Xenex, I just saw him get the big heli blade right there on Cesar. Dead is dead. The MD Ganak going down outside Legion Square. This man just said, I'm not gonna read Chat GPT essay. Sorry. Hey, Marnix, let me tell you something. You don't know Evan if you think that this was from Chat GPT, man. I don't know. Listen, Evan can write his own paragraphs, man. This man just said Evan made his paragraph with Chat GPT. How about that, folks? Evan, can you Settle it right now. Settle it right now that you do not make your paragraphs from ChatGPT. VS dead. Ripson. Damn. Evan in game says, well, first of all, Zenix says Evan is ChatGPT. And Skip PS says Evan is an AI. And Evan himself says, I have real intelligence. I don't need artificial to help me type stuff. Period. Oh, Lord. How about that, folks? Marnix being a moderator out here, huh? Oh, boy. Yeah, so this is kind of the biggest, I could tell here. Without reading any of what Evan said here, I guess, this is basically the TLDR of what it is, right? As soon as you get that as soon as you destroy a cop, rather, they respawn, right? Unless you do something where, upon death, you must mandatorily stay there for 10 to 15 seconds, right? To buffer the increased speed of the vehicles. But, you know, just like some, is that Call of Duty? Do they do that in Call of Duty? No, I'm sorry, PUBG or some shit, right? When you, what game is that? When you get downed, you have to sit on the ground for, mandatorily for like 10-15 seconds or whatever. Yeah, so that's the only thing that would thwart that, I guess, huh? We'll do one more, and then we'll try to transition into Rate My Chase Live if we got something here. It's got a deaf response, huh? Oh, it's already in. This is from March, never mind. Yeah, we did this in the changelog, I think, right? Casino. This is from March. Oh, we are in March, never mind. Fuck. I forgot what month we were in. Cesar said, casino heist. I suggest adding the possibility to steal a random amount of casino chips for the value of 20 to 40% of the original heist payout as a bonus. These stolen chips will be used first when gambling in the casino later on. A max amount of 1 million can be carried by the player, but gets seized upon arrest or takedown. Also the possibility to store it in houses. Okay, so something added on to if you rob the casino, I'm guessing, huh? You can steal chips to later on use in the casino. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. What's going on in game right now, folks? Dino King and Slim got destroyed, as far as I see. And Dino King just says, don't tell me what to do, bitch. I own the city. How about that? How about that? So, it seems we may transition pause right now to Rate My Chase Live, although there's only one cop in game, folks. There's only one cop in game. And I don't know where they are in the list here. Maybe it's Shafty, but... Player said bide. Oh man. Oh my god. We have more medics in game than we have cops right now, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. Hendrik, wasn't there a Formula 1 today or some shit? Is he even still here? Oh, he's muted. Oh well. Anyway, let's transition, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on here. So that will end the punkery as we know it, but we're going to transition, pause, into Rate My Chase Live, although there aren't many cops on the server, and as who said Rate My DM? Cesar said Rate My DM, so that's probably what is going to happen. me just move my shit up. So, right now, folks, we need thoughts. All right, we broke the news earlier today, or earlier in the show, that apparently Chuppy is now retired. We do not know the reasons for his retirement. We need to have people. Oh shit! We need to get the fuck. We didn't get that out. We need to have Chuppy's haters come out and tell us